Hey everybody, welcome to this video. I'm Doug Barry. I appreciate you being with me. Battle Ready Coalition YouTube channel. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about something pretty serious, food shortages. Now, these are not food shortages that are coming. These are food shortages that are already happening and most likely going to intensify, but not just food, other items as well.
The price of items like dried beans, canned vegetables, flour, all up better than 10% from the same time just 1 year ago.
We are on the precipice of a global food crisis.
We are in the process of working out with our European friends what it would take to help alleviate the concerns relative to food shortages.
The U.S., Canada, and Europe are major wheat producers, but Ukraine and Russia produce about 1/3 of the world's supply.
Between the Ukraine and Russia, they represent 50% of the world's production of fertilizer.
It's happening at grocery stores across the country. Store shelves nearly empty of fruits, vegetables, beef, and chicken.
The chief of UN World Food Program warned that a potential global food crisis might be on the horizon on a scale not seen since World War II.
You can't find it anywhere.
After empty shelves.
It's scary because you wonder, like, is this the time that I'm going to run out?
We're hearing this all over the place, that we are being hit with food shortages and other items. We've got food, fuel, fertilizer, aluminum, neon. Now you're thinking, why neon? What's the big deal with neon? That's a major component in chips that are used in electronics. You heard of the car issue where we have all these car lots that are not receiving automobiles from the manufacturers. Why? Well, they're telling us it's primarily because of chip shortages. This has been going on for quite some time, so this is nothing new. Videos like this, we can still put out. We can still hammer away, encouraging people to get prepared, store up some food, learn to plant gardens, get those items that are key and critical for survival, build community with other people, have a plan of action, get the extra water, the extra food. We have multiple videos on this. But we have to think about what's going on with the food shortage and all these other items, fuel, fertilizer, aluminum, neon, in our country and around the world. And why is this happening? Consider that the USA is the largest food importer in the world. Now, China has almost 4 times our population, but we actually import more food than they do. I mean, in the United States, the goods imported from China totaled $434.7 billion in 2020. Now, that's down 3.6%. from 2019, but up 19% from 2010. Now, U.S. imports are up 325% from 2001. And U.S. imports from China account for 18.6% of overall U.S. imports in 2020. So what are we saying there? We're saying that the United States, as big as the United States is, and as resource rich as we are, we're not producing that much. We're importing a lot, and we're importing it from China, a communist nation. Now, just recently, it was reported that China has locked down another 47 cities, towns, villages, either partially or entirely due to, I think we all know why. Now, what does this mean? This means when you lock down cities and towns, that means you cut production. One of these is Shanghai. Shanghai has a population of approximately 25 million people. You lock all this down, you cut the production, you slash the imports that will be coming into other nations. Now, we may not be feeling all of it so powerfully right now, but that's because, for example, when it comes to growing crops, it takes time for those crops to grow. Fertilizer, for example, is another serious problem. Recently, I was speaking with a farmer up in Nebraska. He tells me that fertilizer has gone from, in his area, $500 a ton to nearly $1,800 a ton. He said, you wait till 2023, Doug. He said, you're gonna see these prices skyrocket. A can of tuna could escalate from $1 a can to, well, one economist says it could go as high as $25 a can. Now, the idea we're talking about here is that with the reality of all this happening, what do we do? Ukraine and Russia together produce nearly 30% of the world's traded wheat and about 12% of its calories. Think about that, the calories that people consume to live. 12% come from Ukraine and Russia combined. Now, without them, soaring food prices and shortages could easily touch off a wave of serious instability the world hasn't seen for decades. And really, here in the United States, we don't make very much for ourselves anymore at all. And if we can't get our food from other countries because of a war, which currently, at the time we record this, the talk of it escalating potentially to World War III is very real. It's in the news on a regular basis now. Or if we lose allies, those that we communicate with, work with, that help us achieve the goals that we need to acquire the products and materials, food, and so forth. If we don't have these, then we will not have enough of anything for the people in our own country. You think of things such as medicine, technology, food, etc. And consider that inflation is going up, as it has been for quite some time now. And there's talk that it's going to continue to rise. We were told it was transitory. Clearly, that's not the case. With all of this that we see unfolding right before our eyes, what does that mean for us? The value of the items that we purchase is not necessarily increasing. The value of our dollar, is decreasing. Now, with all of this, not conspiracy theory, all of this, call it conspiracy fact, sitting right in front of us, staring us in the face, what should our response be? Prepare to the best of our ability. I always say you need to look at your assets, your liabilities. You got to look at what you can, the resources that you have to work with, and then get moving. Many of our videos, the whole approach of BR Coalition is to really focus on really taking the steps, actionable steps, taking a look at the problem, realizing that hope is found when you have a plan of action in the face of a crisis. The crisis is very clear. Food shortages, aluminum shortages, fuel, fertilizer, neon, and so forth and so forth. With these staring us right in the face, what should our response be? Have a plan of action to bring hope in the face of this crisis. We can't sit around and just wring our hands in fear. We can't turn our head away, bury our heads in the sand and not pay attention to what's happening. That doesn't make it go away. You can stand there and say that there's a Category 5 hurricane coming towards your city on the coast. I don't want to pay attention to it. It's too depressing, too discouraging. I'm just going to turn my back to it. That doesn't make the hurricane go away. We need to prepare. We need to take the steps that are good and safe and holy in order to prepare. Getting extra food is a great start. Storing up your food supply. Some say just have 3 weeks, 3 months. I say maybe a little more. In fact, I would simply say it's never enough to just continue to just keep adding to your food supply. It's a good idea to do. When you go to the grocery store, instead of buying 2 cans of tuna, you buy 3 or 4. 4 cans of soup, buy 5 or 6. That's the idea. Now, some people can go out and drop $1,000, $2,000 or more on extra food and supplies. Not a bad idea if you can. But if you can't, at the very least, make that your goal, is that every time you go shopping, you add a little extra and that goes into your supply. But in addition to that, you got to learn to sustain yourself by growing gardens, raising animals, chickens, working with other people, building community. Now that is a key piece here. Build community, start now. We are putting on a couple of live workshops on May 17th where you can interact. We're going to communicate. We're going to give you 15 concrete steps, what you can do to really be in a better position to survive food shortages. If this switch gets flipped and all of a sudden we wake up in the morning and realize that the power grid is down or the food supply is cut in half, there will be a run like you have never seen on grocery stores everywhere. We do not want to be in a situation where we are caught up in that. Again, that's May 17th. Click the link in the description. You'll get more information on that as to the times. But I really want to encourage you to take seriously the importance of taking action now, not waiting. You've watched this video, so when it's over, go on out and do something. Get a few extra items, start getting into some gardening, call some people who know about that, get some strategic purchases going on, or check out some of the other videos on our YouTube channel. Go out to brcoalition.com. There's a lot of different directions you can go to improve and grow and be in a better position to handle things body, mind, and soul. May 17th, 2 live workshops. I look forward to seeing you all there. Remember, no matter what you do, subscribe to this channel first, and then never lay your sword down on the battlefield and walk away. There is far too much at stake, and everything that's happening around us makes that very evident, very, very clear. So God bless you and strengthen you in this fight. I look forward to seeing you all again soon.